The latest on a high school football player who murdered a pregnant cheerleader. I'm Gotti from NBC News. I've got all the information on that case. Plus, we're going to tell you why Obama is blasting call-out culture. This 17-year-old high school football player in Indiana just pleaded guilty to killing a cheerleader who told him she was pregnant with his baby. She went missing after the two were spotted talking outside her family home. The high schooler told detectives that he spent a week planning her murder after he found out that it was too late for her to get an abortion, and at the time, she was 6 months pregnant. Her body was later found in a garbage bag in a dumpster, and an autopsy said she died from being stabbed. And that guy just pleaded guilty and is now facing up to 80 years in prison for murder. Another wildfire near LA forced hundreds of people to evacuate Thursday as crews there continue to fight fires across California. Hong Kong is facing a recession for the first time in a decade after months of anti-government protests and a trade war between the U.S. and China. ISIS has named a new successor who will replace the former leader that was killed during a U.S. military raid in Syria. And classes in Chicago are back in session today after city officials reached a deal with the teachers union. Last week, Princeton promised $27 million in scholarships to the descendants of slaves. Now Georgetown University is also trying to own up to its ties to slavery. Now all this goes back to 1838, when Jesuit priests who ran Georgetown sold 272 slaves to pay for the school's debts. So for the past few years, the school's been trying to find a way to support their descendants. Georgetown students voted to pay for a reparations fund earlier in April by adding a small fee to their tuition that would have brought in about $400,000 a year. But now Georgetown says instead of students having to pay, they'll support the fund with donations, while some students are saying those donations might not give enough financial support. The school says the reparation fund is going to go to community projects, and those will start next fall. Okay, so what do James Charles, Taylor Swift, and Logan Paul all have in common? Yeah, they've all been supposedly canceled, and they've all had plenty to say about being canceled, but guess who's the latest to weigh in on call-out culture? Former President Barack Obama. During a summit for the Obama Foundation, the former president said that publicly shaming people online does not count as activism.
If all you're doing is casting stones, you're probably not going to get that far.
He also said that a lot of good people have flaws, so attacking people on social media isn't really being woke. So does that mean that all this canceled stuff is finally getting canceled?